Aloha. You're watching Top Tech Talent Reemployment Project. I'm Peter, and this is our Reddit reactions playlist. I mean, if we're going to go full bore, we might as well go full bore. So for today's story, it's from Mustache84 from the r slash career guidance spot. And now you might notice he wrote this 9 months ago, but it reads like it could be today. So let's get into it. 2024 job hunt hits different. What's going on? Almost exactly 1 year ago, I was hired into a director role at a tech company in San Francisco. Finding that job took roughly 3 months and about 100 applications. Those 100 applications turned into about 9 company interviews, which resulted in 1 job offer. I felt like this was about par for the course from my job hunts in the past. For me, it's a numbers game because my professional network isn't very strong and I heavily rely on job postings. But yes, I could network more, but this post is about what has changed externally because something has in a big way. Okay, now to 2024. After my previous employer ran out of money, I found myself in the same boat again at the end of last year. I've been on the hunt for about 5 months now, and things seem very, very different. Roughly 210 applications, so double. 2 company interviews, and still looking. My interview success rate on the job applications in 2023 was about 10%. Today, with a better resume, more experience, and my personal brand building, my interview success rate is now closer to 1%. At this rate, I'll have another 800 job applications before getting enough interviews for a job offer. Is it me? Or has it become near impossible to get noticed on the job market in 2024? Does anyone have any tips on what they're finding works or to get noticed in today's job market? Well, that's why we're doing this channel, interviewing those who have been laid off to maybe get their face and energy out there for everyone to see. If you're one of those, leave a comment. We'll get you on the show. And before the peanut gallery chimes in, I don't apply for jobs I don't qualify for. I only focus on companies that align with my domain expertise. And my resume isn't vastly different than what worked in 2023. And honestly, it's much more refined. So we both would love to hear everyone's thoughts, and good luck out there to my fellow job seekers. He has an update. He loves Reddit, of course. Such a great conversation here and some very helpful suggestions. So thank you all. And for those of you who are curious, I work in product marketing, as do I, and have experience with platform technologies for business and marketing users, as do I. Been applying mostly to senior manager roles and sometimes director level. For me, I'm just an individual contributor. I ain't looking to senior manage or direct anybody. Most of my experience is with companies between 5 million and 125 million in yearly revenue. I'm applying to companies of every kind and size within the B2B software as a service space. But if I had to choose, I feel like the biggest gap in my career to date is not having worked for a big enterprise or public company. Curious what any HR or recruiters here feel about someone trying to transition from early mid-stage companies to late-stage ones. Now, I've worked for 2 behemoth companies, and I am not a fan. I much prefer, the 1,500 to like 5,000, 6,000 companies. Those big behemoths, one I just got riffed from, they don't have any problem kind of just tossing people aside. So this is what he's hearing, his experience. Having an ATS optimized resume is paramount. So ATS is the system that recruiters, HR departments use when you send your resume in. It gets scanned. It looks for certain keywords or locations or other pieces of data just to sift through the hundreds, thousands of resumes to then, bring up to the top those with the proper keywords. Doesn't tell you anything really about the candidate, but that's one way of getting past that first clip is go into the job description, go into your resume, making sure you got those words in there and sending it off. Early in my career, I was a creative director and took pride in my uniquely beautiful resume, but have realized the necessary evil of stripping out any embellishments, columns, dividers, icons, etc., etc. I haven't found the perfect free ATS checker yet. They all do something a little different, but we'll add my favorite here once I find it. He hasn't posted that yet. My resumes, first time around, had it professionally done, apparently ATS compliant or optimized. And then just about a month or so ago, I had it redone also with ATS optimized. But personally, that's what I need to do is actually put what those people told me was ATS optimized, put it through a reader just to make sure. And it's also a tip to, like I mentioned earlier, kind of adjust your resume potentially for each particular role you're applying for. It's also worth shooting for jobs that you may not perfectly be qualified for, such as applying for a job requiring 7 years of domain expertise when I may only have 5 years. It also seems to be a growing consensus about the importance of a one-page resume. I think mine is, I want to say 2 pages, maybe 3. I got to burn mine down to 1 page. And I have work to do here, but a one-page resume, here I come. Number 4, lastly, this conversation has been most helpful in at least validating that 2024 is much harder than years past, and perhaps my expertise is par for the course, and not to be too concerned that there are any glaring problems with my resume or approach to finding my next career. And he'll add his learning here to summarize. We'll put this link in so you can dig in for yourself. Now, there was a bunch of comments underneath, but this was the one from So What Talks First? So Who Talks First? Now, above this, there was some back and forth, people challenging numbers and percentages, and this one guy talking about how he would put out 100, get 10, and one a day. I don't think anybody's seeing one a day. Now, this person says, I've checked well over 3,000 listings, and I put in about 300 applications in the last month through a pretty rigorous checking system. 300, that's like 10 a day. So 1, any LinkedIn, Indeed, or job board of any kind, check that listing against the company site career section. That's really important. And if there's no career section, call them directly and inquire about the posting. I mean, no problem, pushing yourself on people. Any posting which said company search results only yield a LinkedIn page is fake. So what that means is if you do a search for the company and all that comes back is a LinkedIn page versus an actual domain and website, it's probably fake, at least the job posting. Almost any application process only asking for name, resume, and email is fake. I hate to admit, I think I've done that a time or two, or it's buried in layers of digital recruiting systems and it doesn't point to a real human. So watch out for those. A lot of the job boards, so it's like Workday. I can't remember the other one. Maybe I can find real quick. But yeah, and going directly to the company's site and applying off their careers site is the best you should do. And then you go back to LinkedIn, connect with the recruiter or hiring manager, let them know you submitted that, maybe get your foot in the door. Any application process putting form entries for sensitive information first is fake. So if they're asking for your social security number during the application process, probably fake, and certainly don't put it in. Not a hard and fast rule, but if the app doesn't include disability, military vet, equal opportunity employment, there's a high likelihood it's faked or buried in recruitment layers. So, what they're saying here is on all the applications I've applied for, there is a question that says, do you have a disability? And you select the answer. And the same with military vet, if you're a protected vet or not. So, and then even what you identify as, you know, within your ethnic culture. So, there are tons of board listings state a job in your area, but after checking company career sites, they point to some other location, not fake, but not useful either. So that's been my experience where the job posting says remote and I'm remote. But once you then click into the application itself, it'll say remote, but it'll have to be like on the East Coast or working East Coast hours. And that really doesn't work for me here in California. With this in mind, the number is much closer to 90%. And so, context for this job seeker, their experience is mid range IT, QA, and property management jobs. But I also apply for stuff I'm overqualified for, like office clerical, accounting, etc. They say that over 60% are scammers operating solely through the job boards for info for phishing. Yeah, I've seen that. 20 to 30% is digital recruitment layers, and 10% are actual job listings. Oh, that hurts. And this person talks about, I have 7 different resumes. I actually have 2, and then they're slightly different. 3 tailored to job type, 1 as ATS ready as possible, 1 absurdly over detailed, and 1 of balanced preference for human versus AI, and 1 that's more traditional, the formatting, tables, etc. The majority of time using the ATS ready and human versus AI one. So they're using obviously ATS. And out of those 300, I've gotten 6 interviews out of the valid 300 applications. So they have a 2% hit rate. I'd say my hit rate is probably, oh boy, 2 out of 50. So what's that? I got a 4% hit rate. Woohoo! Hopefully that helps some. We're going to keep going through Reddit. Might as well keep telling stories, maybe help you get a job, help you tune your resume and get that dream career. I hope you enjoyed this. If you do, please hit that like, subscribe, share with your friends, and certainly check out the candidates that have their video resumes on our channel. And with that, thanks for watching the episode 1, the premiere of Top Tech Talent Reemployment Project, the Reddit readings or Reddit reactions or Reddit recordings. Aloha.